Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Back for this Monday night. Monday, it should be a Monday for you. Yeah, it is a Monday. It means it's Tuesday here. How are you all? Good to see you. Yeah, this one out of Arizona, very interesting. A trial down there for a two children aged 9 and 7 who their mother killed with a meat cleaver. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Hey, April B, good to see you. Laurie says Trish is done. Well, that's good. Rachel, good to see you. I hate mornings. Gayla's here. Apparently, I am here. Danny's here. Mr. Dan Yee. How are you? Yeah, it's not a good one. It's not good. By the way, I'm glad we got through the show yesterday. I was about 10 seconds from puking everywhere at the end of that show. Couple people emailed and they caught it and they're like, "Ping, were you really nauseous at the end of that show?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was not having a good day yesterday." And I was like, that's why I ended the show so quickly because I was really not feeling well, and I was like, I just have to get out of here. And luckily, we made it off the air before that happened. Pause. Hey, good to see you, Lynn D, Marilyn Landis. Good to have you guys. All right, let's go to Arizona. I want you to see this because no one's reporting on it, which I find it so weird. Normally everyone's into these child cases, but this one kind of snuck out under the radar in Arizona. Very quick turnaround from the jury. So this was a jury trial. The mum, she was charged with two counts of first degree murder, 2 counts of CA, 1 count of disorderly conduct. Very disorderly. They said in closing arguments, the prosecution said the evidence was overwhelming that the mother had killed her own children, but the defense argued there was reasonable doubt. I don't think so. I don't think so. And I don't think the jury bought that either because they apparently turned around a verdict in a matter of hours. It was a very quick turnaround. Here, I'll play the video for you, then we'll talk more about what happened in the event and the trial.
We are following some breaking news right now. Guilty on all counts for that mother in Tempe accused of murdering her 2 kids with a meat cleaver.
The verdict came quickly today after closing arguments from the prosecution and defense this morning. True crime correspondent Brianna Whitney following this trial. Brianna, what do we make of this verdict?
It was so fast. I was watching the closing arguments this morning. I left for a meeting. I came back, and on my way back, I got the alert. Yeah. There's been a verdict. And so obviously now we're looking at what happened there. The jury came back with that verdict in about 2 hours, extremely fast, in a first-degree murder trial, which means they felt the prosecution really proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt. This morning, the prosecution presented a passionate argument that Inoue killed her kids with a meat cleaver to get back at her husband for financial woes in their upcoming divorce. It was in May of 2021 when the prosecution said Inoue committed first-degree murder, killing her daughter, Mia, and son, Kai. There were dozens of chops and injuries to their bodies. The prosecution spoke first today, telling the jury Inoue was upset with the financial terms of her divorce to her husband and had plans to move to Japan. There was a domestic dispute hours before the deaths. Police were called, and at that time, the kids were alive. But when police came back hours later, after Inoue went to the police station herself and said voices were telling her to kill her kids, officers found the young children dead and covered with trash, boxes, and a mattress over them.
Voices telling you to kill your children after you're going through a contentious divorce, when prosecution found out it wasn't so much the voices, it was the monetary terms of your divorce that you didn't like. I think that is pretty despicable to attack your own children based on your own relationship with the father. The children don't control that relationship, you do. So why would you take it out on your children? I am not surprised the jury swung this into a guilty verdict so quickly. Trying to use these type of excuses not only lowers your chance of success at trial, but it's also insulting to actual people who suffer from mental illness. People who suffer from schizophrenia or other mental disorders, it's very low to try and use their illness to cover for your crime. You know, that's it's really despicable of her. You know, there's some poor people in the community who have no choice but to, you know, have that type of illness, and by you pretending to be that is pretty horrible. All right, here they ask her about the voices. Here we go.
The prosecution said Inoue reflected in the moment before killing not just one of her children, but both of them in a row, and that showed premeditation.
On May 15th, 2021, Inoue Inoue did things that should be unspeakable. She did things and committed violence that is so extensive that we would not even think of putting it in an R-rated horror film. Mia and Kai Inoue were sleeping soundly in their beds when their own mother came into their bedroom holding a knife, a meat cleaver that is literally designed to cut the bones of animals. And she attacked them with it.
The defense then presented their closing arguments. They said there were not eyewitnesses to this crime. Neighbors didn't see or hear anything and claimed that Inoue didn't do this. They focused heavily on reminding the jury about testimony from the medical examiner who said the amount of force needed to cause those specific injuries to the kids was extensive and significant, something they didn't feel Inoue Inoue was capable of.
He likened the amount of force to a guillotine. You saw pictures of Inoue. You saw her during jury selection. She is a very tiny, very slightly built woman. She doesn't have the energy, the power, or the strength to cause that type of injury to those kids.
That defense attorney is not being very convincing. I think we've all been to the local market and seen the little old lady behind the, you know, the stall that sells like duck and the roast pork and all that. I've seen that lady with a meat cleaver, and she does that all day long for 8 hours a day, selling, you know, different products, and she has to chop through bone and meat. Seems like she does that every day just fine. How is it that this is like, oh, you know, oh, it's some sort of like very dainty lady who can't chop through her own children? I don't think so. That doesn't sound right at all. And again, that's a really low-hanging fruit for the defense attorney to be like, she couldn't have done this. She's a weak woman. How dare she? You know, there's no way she'd be able to do this. You know, she's just a lady. She's just a tiny woman. I thought we spent the last 25 years reversing all that and trying to, one, you know, give some sort of equality, but two, you know, stopping with this type of disparity between, you know, male and female. I think women have shown they can do just about anything. Isn't that what the ads on TV tell us? That includes murdering your own children with a meat cleaver.
So what was Inoue Inoue's reaction to the verdict? We don't know. Why? Because she wasn't there. Inoue did not like the fact a camera and media was present in the courtroom and chose not to be there for closing arguments, and also elected not to be there for the verdict. So instead, she learned her fate from her jail cell. Her sentencing is set for March 21st.
I mean,
So sentencing in March, you know, that tells me everything. When she's having such a hissy fit that she won't go to her own trial because she already knows the verdict. She already knows because her defense is putting up some of the weakest arguments I've ever seen in court. You know, it's ridiculous. And for her to hide in her jail cell, it tells me everything I need to know about that woman anyway. So yeah, we'll hear more about that when she is sentenced in about 8 weeks' time, and I'll play the rest of it for you here.
it's a moot point now because the verdict is in. But what is the theory that she didn't do it, or who did it?
They don't know that the wrong person was arrested, that they didn't catch the right person, and that they should have talked more to neighbors and other people in the apartment complex, that there were 7 apartment units that were nearby who would have seen or heard something and didn't. So that's really what they were arresting on. And the fact that they claimed, the defense claimed, she physically wasn't able to exert the force of a guillotine.
Do you know how many times I've watched, a police interview or forensic examiner, an ME, a cop go around a neighborhood and ask people like, "Oh, did you hear anything overnight? 2 people were killed in the apartment next to you." And they'll be like, "No, no, we didn't hear anything." They'll be like, "Yeah, man, they like chopped them to pieces and like set them on fire. Like, you didn't hear anything?" "Nah, man, I slept all night." That happens so frequently. It's like when I first got into true crime, I was like, how did people not hear this type of violent murder? Now, after being in true crime for a number of years, I'm just like, that doesn't surprise me at all. It happens all the time where people are like, I don't hear anything. What are you talking about? People got killed in apartment 20? Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't hear anything. That happens frequently. Using it as a part of your defense is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Well, it definitely was someone else. It was the boogeyman that came in and killed my own children after after I had a dispute about my divorce. Yeah. Yeah, it was that there's a guy wearing a hat. Didn't see much of him. He was wearing dark clothing. He had a meat cleaver though. Where'd that come from? I don't know. But he brought it with him to kill my children for no apparent reason. Yeah, I don't think so. Blunt. Hey, Tate, how are you? I saw a comment on Webster's running people to watch your channel. They are so nice. Oh, that is very nice of them. Very nice of them. Good to see you, by the way. I hope your tarot is going good. I know that you were doing that the other day. Yes, you should remind everyone to come and watch here in the evening.
You hear those words and you just think it's just awful. But it's interesting because I've covered moms who kill.
Yeah.
And this is one of them. And this is under something called spouse revenge filicide. Filicide is when a mother or a parent kills their children. But this is an actual category that they kind of categorize people into. And so she was so angry with her husband that, all right, if you're not going to give me what I want financially and just the lifestyle, I'm going to take what you love. Yes. But it's hard to understand for any normal person to understand how a mother could do that. That was the motive in this case, though. And clearly the jury found that the state presented all of this beyond a reasonable doubt and met that burden of proof to come.
I don't think it's that hard to understand. If you've watched even 2 minutes of any sort of true crime in your life, you would have been like, yeah, like every second episode of every second TV show is about some woman who killed her children. Like, if you pick up any documentary series, I don't think it's like she's saying, "Oh, it's very difficult for normal people to understand." Not really. Happens all the time. It really does. As sad as that is, I think I've got on my list right now since the start of 2025, I've got 8 of them. I've got 8 cases where women have killed their children. 8 of them. And I think 2 of them are in Texas, one is in Arizona, a couple in California. I think there's a few in other places around the USA. I don't think anyone is surprised by it right now. This lady seems so shocked, and she's supposed to be the true crime correspondent. I question that.
Come back so fast with the verdict.
And you don't have to be a mom to listen to this case and look at the pictures of that kids and just get chills.
Yeah, it's so disturbing.
It is.
They believe
awful.
they fought back.
Yeah.
In that moment, and that one of them may have protected the other while it was going on and watching. So it's very heartbreaking.
That is too much. All right,
Brianna, thank
Brianna,
you.
thank you.
When he was a teenager, Jane
I think one of the telling details within this particular one, and it's this statement here. When the police went back to the Tempe home, the children were dead with dozens of chops and injuries to their bodies. They were also covered with trash, boxes, and a mattress. Okay. So let's say the defense is telling the truth, okay? Or not telling the truth, but let's say we believe them even for a second. So you're telling me there was a guy, just some random guy that wanted to come and kill your 2 children, and he broke into your home. Somehow you were not injured. He chopped up your children dozens of times and then covered them with trash, boxes, and a mattress. Not run away from the crime scene, not kill the witness, aka you, but he decided to cover them with items from your home, and then he ran away before you could raise the alarm. I'm not sure about that. I think that's a weird thing to go and do. Break into someone's home, kill their 2 children in a very violent and horrific way, and then cover them with trash. I mean, Megan Boswell is already in prison, so she wasn't out there, and she's not a man, so she's already in jail. She's the only other one I could think of that might do that, but she'd just do that to her own child, not someone else's children. Yeah, it's very odd. I don't understand their defense. It's an odd claim. Um, Yeah, so I believe the prosecution has it down right here. Prosecution spoke today, painting a picture of a mother who was upset with the terms of her divorce from her husband and plans to move to Japan. Obviously, she didn't get what she wanted in that divorce, meaning she couldn't make that move to Japan. They said she reflected in the moment before killing her children, but that killing both of them in a row shows premeditation. They also argued there is no evidence based on the crime scene and potential motive that anyone else killed those children. They say Mia and Kai were asleep in their beds when their own mother came into their bedroom holding a knife, a meat cleaver, and attacked them. She had to think, she had to act, and there was nothing unclear or speculative about any of it. The defense began their closing arguments after saying there was no eyewitnesses to the crime. There's often no eyewitnesses to the crime. That's the way people like to conduct murders. They don't tend to go into public and then, take their victim and be like, hey, look around. I need some witnesses for my trial. Please look at me, everyone. I'm about to commit some murder. I need you to look in this direction. I need you all to be a witness to my crime. That doesn't tend to happen. They say the medical examiner likened the force to a guillotine. I think it's not something like they don't mean literally. They're just describing the type of injury, and by trying to take that, at face value and present it to the court and be like, she can't be like a guillotine. She doesn't have the force for it. She's just a little tiny old lady. No. They say she is a very tiny, very slightly built woman. When has that ever stopped anyone from doing anything? I don't think that's ever stopped a woman from killing anyone ever before. I mean, half of the women in jail that are guilty of killing their children, their husband, other children, other people, half of them are tiny, tiny women. I don't think that's ever stopped them. They say she doesn't have the energy. Why? Is she iron deficient? Does she have some sort of like concerns with her vitamins? Does she need a vitamin D injection? All the power. Are you sure about that? Did you put her through like a military trial? Did you take her to the gym? Did you see if she could lift like the 15-pound weight? All the strength to cause that type of injury to those children. You'd be very surprised what an angry person, yet alone a woman, could do to anyone when they are pissed off enough about a certain situation. It could be a man, could be a woman. You'd be surprised how much energy and force people can do when they are absolutely like the most pissed off they could ever be about something. They just find energy like there's some sort of like supervillain. They say the defense doubled down on their argument that no one saw the crime happen. I don't understand why you keep bringing this up on the defense. It's like if a tree falls in the forest and no one was there to hear it. No, that's not how crime works though. Might work for a riddle, but it doesn't seem to work for, crime. You can't just be like, well, no one saw it happen. So did it really happen? Are they really dead? Oh, yeah. I don't think it was my client. Could have been anyone. Could have been Ronald McDonald. Maybe he came in. Maybe he had a knife cleaver. Wanted to kill some children, after he finished at McDonald's. No, I don't think so. They're saying there are 7 other apartments in the building. I'm glad we all can count. Thank you. Where Yui and her husband lived. Okay, well, thank you. They say you didn't hear from any of the neighbors. I wouldn't want to hear from them either. They probably just don't know what happened. Nobody saw or heard anything. I don't think that's a legal defense. I don't think you can go into a trial and be like, nobody ever saw my crimes. If they did, the state would have called them. Probably, but I don't think that gets you out of jail. They say she was not in favor of the camera and media present in the courtroom. Well, what I can tell you is play stupid games and win stupid prizes, including having to go to trial and possibly having media and a camera in the courtroom. These are the consequences to your action that a jury has now found you guilty of. And she was not there for closing arguments. She was not present for the verdict. She learned her fate from her new home, aka a jail cell. So there you go. Very selfish individual to kill her children because she didn't get what she wanted out of her divorce. I'm going to show you a photo of her. Let's show you women who kill their own children. Here we go. This is a photo of her here. And there you go. Yeah, FA and FO. That is right. She is a coward. That is right. Carolina says, women of steel probably see red. Yeah, I would say so. Adrenaline is effective. Exactly. Wouldn't there have been a lot of blood? I don't know. Like, are you expecting the neighbors to see it? They look in the window. They're like, geez, that's a lot of blood. Maybe I should contact someone. Maybe I should contact our building manager. Carolina says, please, everyone press the, yeah, please hit that. Is it that? Or is it a like button now? I don't know. They keep changing it. Let's see. It's a pretty bad case. Woman of Steel says, why can't these women give the kids to their dad? Because they're too self-centered and too wrapped up in their own personal battle with the father to ever give anything to him without getting what they want. And what she wanted was some sort of monetary endowment to divorce him. And she wanted some sort of upkeep on her life, apparently. She wanted enough money to keep her, keep her driving around in a Mercedes or whatever. She wanted enough money from him. That's living big time, yeah. Rachel said the poor babies and the father, yeah. That's very sad. I don't know. I don't know why it's so horrific. Laurie says, meant the cops would have seen the blood if there was a lot. Well, the first time they went there, they didn't see anything. It wasn't until they returned a second time after she appeared at the police station saying voices told her to kill her children. I don't think it was voices. I think it was, we all have that internal voice that tells us what to do. That doesn't mean you're hearing voices. We call that, that's your personal, that's your inner voice. It's not your hearing voices. They're two different things. Darby says hubby got a call saying he was hired back on his own contract. Yes. He has not started any hiring people. I hope he does. Good work. Congratulations. Andrew says she looks low maintenance. She looks low something. I hate mornings because unfortunately it's usually about child support. Well, sometimes. Not all the times, but sometimes. I don't know what it was about her. Apparently, it was about him not offering enough money to keep her lifestyle. That's what they were saying in the trial. So I don't know what that means, but normally it means you're not giving her enough money so she can get her nails done and stuff like that. Get a new car, get a new home, that type of thing. Yeah, I'll play this one from Fox News. It might have a bit more info for you.
A jury convicts a Tempe mom for murdering her 2 kids with a meat cleaver.
The conclusion of the murder trial of 44-year-old Inoue Inoue. The Tempe mother found guilty of all 5 counts against her, including first-degree murder and child abuse. She killed her 7-year-old son and 9-year-old daughter with a meat cleaver in their apartment back in 2021. She did not appear in court today as the verdict was read.
That was the world's shortest video. Yeah, Mrs. Ping's just reading the crime over there in another room. She's saying that apparently she was found with
Her
blood
dream
on
of
her
starting her
hands
own business destroyed over.
and with the meat cleaver. Yeah, when she went to the police station. Mrs. Ping saying, what happened? Did the guy who killed your children come in, knock you out, hand you a meat cleaver, and paint your hands with your children's blood, all just to set you up? That sounds a bit far-fetched. They're saying here, let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, law enforcement discovered a large amount of blood on the floor with the two children covered by a blanket. Officials say there were significant injuries to the bodies, including lacerations, cuts, amputations, consistent with a violent attack and defensive wounds. Horrific death for those children. Horrific. The medical examiner determined their cause of death for each was sharp force and chopping injuries. They also alleged that she was motivated by anger. So I believe they got it right. Here she is, the lady who wouldn't go to court for her own sentencing. Seems to care so little about her own children that she would just ignore the court altogether. Here, let me give you a bigger blown up picture of her. There you go. That happens all the time. She has a completely different life now. One dressed in very fashionable orange, I would say. Hold on, guys. All right, there we go. I'm still a little up and down from yesterday. Woman of Steel says it happens all the time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's pretty bad. I know. Amputations, along with chopping injuries, sharp force injuries. Uh, I mean, that doesn't sound like some random crazy person broke into your home. So the question I would have had as the prosecution would be, okay, say we believe your version of events that some mystery person broke into your home and attacked your children. Well, if they were so violent toward your children, how come you're not injured? How come you don't seem to have any amputations, sharp force injuries, chopping injuries, anything like that? How come you're the only one that seemed to make it out alive and only the children had to die? Doesn't seem like something a crazy person would do. Seems like they'd probably want to kill any witnesses. They say Angela says she still doesn't get the money, but she does get free housing for the next 25 to 30 years. Yeah, hey, good to see you. Yeah, it is very cruel. I mean, to put your children through that in their final moments when you're supposed to be the one and only person they can trust is the highest breach of, natural trust between a mother and a child. It's horrific. These are the type of crimes that we try and tell the public about because it does happen and sometimes goes underreported because it was a woman that did it. So it's not not as worth reporting on as where if a man killed his children, that's front page news. Carolina says heartbreaking. I wish the children could pick out their mums and dads. I know. And then you got a father who was going through a contentious divorce with this woman. Now his wife is in jail for killing his two children. He'll never see them again because of her selfish actions. So it is a terrible case. It is. I agree. Sorry to start off the night with such horrible news. Let's have a break from talking about horrible things that happen in the world. Let me talk to you about horrible things that happen in nature. Let me talk to you about that. So I was reading a study today. So Ping likes to read about the giant sharks that live off the coast of Australia. I remember a couple of weeks ago I brought you a story about a young girl who was killed by a shark attack in Queensland. Well, apparently a theory has been doing the rounds about why she was killed and why the shark was at the beach. And after hearing it and thinking about it for a moment, I was like, wow, is that really a thing? So I'm going to talk to you about it. Hold on, let me load this story up. Give me a sec, because I've never heard of this, and if it works out to be true, someone's liable for her death. Someone is literally liable for the death of this young girl. All right, hold on. All right, here we go. So they're saying there was a young girl that was killed, 17-year-old Charlize Zamuda, and she was fatally attacked off Bribie Island in Queensland a few weeks ago. Here's a photo of that pretty young girl. Very striking girl. Um, she was a really clever girl too. She was like in the surf lifesaving, and she volunteered her time, helped save people at the beach, competed in different, different disciplines within surf lifesaving. So she did a lot of good stuff around the ocean. But this is one of the weirdest things I've ever heard of. So this whale carcass washed up on the beach a couple of months before she was attacked. Now, what do you think they did with this whale carcass after it washed up on the beach? Now, what they normally do, and what I've seen happen when they happen down here, is they normally tie a rope around it and tow it out to the ocean, and then cut the line and hope it doesn't get pushed back into the shore, right? Well, they didn't do that here. They took the whale carcass, brought it onto the sand, and buried it underneath the sand. And what they were saying, an expert was saying that that may work in a colder climate, possibly, but not in a tropical type beach. Because what happens is when you bury the whale under the sand, while it's decomposing, all the blubber and oil and whale smell seeps out from the sand and gets washed into the ocean, and the sharks can smell it. So they come to the shore looking for looking for the whale. And they're like, wait, I can smell whale. I can smell dead whale. Where is it? Hey, I love dead whale. It's like my favorite thing. Where is it? And apparently, she was attacked by that shark that killed her only 10 meters away from where they buried that whale. So they're saying that the connection of why that shark was so close to shore and in a, uh, you know, in a bitey mood was possibly because it could smell the whale carcass in the water. And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Like, yeah, it probably does seep out through the sand and then gets into the ocean, and that's probably why the shark was hanging around. So whoever made that decision, because yeah, normally they just tie a rope around it and drag it out to the ocean and then just cut the line and let it float out deeper into the ocean. So, um, I mean, if that is true, whoever did that has to be held responsible, right? Like, who let them make that decision? Who has the knowledge and background in, I don't know, like sharks and whales and that type of thing, to make the decision to bury it on a very popular public beach, and then now have a 17-year-old girl killed in an attack? Look, no one may be able to say otherwise whether if the whale was there or not there. Would the shark still have killed her? I don't know, but it's pretty weird. Carolina says, so the whale bearers, are they liable and have to pay her family out? I don't know. The people who did it are probably council, so local government. I don't know if they would be liable. No, I don't think they hunted the shark down. No, I don't think it was tagged either. I don't believe so anyway. I've not heard anything like that. All right, hold on. All right, let me take you back to when this originally happened for the people who don't remember. Yeah, this one. Yeah, we played this video a couple of weeks ago.
This is an incredibly tragic incident that's unfolded here at Warren Beach on Bribie Island, which is about an hour's north of Brisbane. Even in the early hours this morning, we saw family and friends who gathered here at this beach to pay tribute to beautiful Charlize Zamuda, the 17-year-old who tragically lost her life yesterday afternoon. There have been dozens of floral tributes that have been laid. There's even been her name that's been etched into the sand in a lovely love heart. And her family say that they really want her to be remembered for this shining light and incredibly beautiful person that she was. Not only was she gifted musically, able to play the ukulele, the trumpet, and even, as her mother describes, having the voice of an angel, but also she was an incredible person inside and out. Often anyone that did know of Charlize, she would be seen picking up trash along the beach because this really right here was her favourite beach.
She was a dedicated lifesaver who wanted to only do the best for our club and for all the people in our community. When I got the tragic news yesterday, I was extremely gutted. But something that my wife and I want to say is we don't want people to stop coming to the beach.
This all unfolded tragically yesterday afternoon. Emergency services were called out to here just before 5 o'clock to reports of a young teenage swimmer who was injured. And when paramedics arrived, they treated the 17-year-old for life-threatening injuries to her torso. Now, unfortunately, she was unable to be saved. And this beach still remains very much closed off to the public. Queensland Surf Lifesaving have said that they believe she was swimming in a part of the beach that was unpatrolled, and it's something that's hit so close to home for so many local community members. There was more than a dozen local swimmers who actually gathered here at the beach earlier this morning, throwing in those floral tributes and really holding a special memorial service just for her.
All right, I'll leave it there. But if they can prove that, I would be very interested to know, would there be a policy change in what they do with these dead whales that wash up on the shore? And would they think again about burying one so close to where other swimmers may be utilizing the beach in the future? Because, the death of a 17-year-old girl is pretty, it's a waste of life. It really is. Yeah. So, Queensland already has a big shark problem. According to this report and other reports I've read, they said it's so bad up there right now due to government policy about how sharks are caught and killed in Australia that they have boomed in numbers down here. Like, there's just so many, to the point when people go fishing, they can't even get their fish that they catch out of the water before a shark comes along and eats the fish. So people who are going, like, commercial fishing or recreational fishing can't even take the fish that they work for and catch out of the water because sharks just come and eat it all. And you end up with half a fish instead. So they're saying that there's got to be a change in policy on how these sharks are dealt with. Woman of Steel said she was such a beauty and talented. Seems like she had a lot of good going for her, for sure. Carolina says, I can see the dead whale smell causing the shark to come up on the beach. Not just this, apparently further down the coastline, a couple of weeks later, another man was attacked by a shark, and he wasn't killed, but he was mauled by the shark and is in hospital with his injuries. So not just her, it happened to another person as well. Luckily, somehow they survived. All right. There's the little break from crazy things that happen in the world, although that is pretty crazy too. All right, I'm going to take you out to Milwaukee. I don't do a lot in Milwaukee, but here we go.
Right now, criminal charges in the death of a 4-year-old girl in Milwaukee.
Janadia Little died in a shooting 1 week ago today near 39th and Sheridan. That is in the Old North Milwaukee neighborhood. Blake Easton is leading us off with this story from the newsroom.
Like prosecutors charged 2 people.
Yeah, that's right, dear Christian. They charged the girl's aunt and a man in connection to her death, 25-year-old Durania Little and 41-year-old Anthony Brookshire. Family telling 12 News last week they were babysitting the young girl, but the two changed their alibis multiple times in interviews with detectives. Police say Durania Little was shot in the chest inside the home. It's still unclear who shot her and where in the house the shooting happened. But according to the criminal complaint, in one of Little's interviews with detectives, she told police she heard a gun go off, ran to the back bedroom, and found her niece shot and her 1-year-old child holding a gun. Police also found these 2 guns at the scene belonging to Brookshire. At first, he told investigators he had never seen one of the guns before, but later admitted to owning it.
Had never seen the guns before. That's a great thing to tell the police, and then to change your story to, oh yeah, yeah, they're actually mine. Like they said at the beginning of the video, these people changed their version of events several times. Well, now charges have been filed. What can I tell you except for if you change what you tell police, it puts you straight in the firing line of like their investigation. They are looking for anyone who modifies, like, majorly. They're not saying like if you change your word in what you tell them, but if you majorly change your, story to police, they have you. They know you're not telling the truth. It's one of the things they look for is how do people present what what they saw or what they know. So really, really brutal. There's the weapons there on your screen. I can't play too much of that video, unfortunately, because WISN and their lawyers are very litigious. I've had a lot of run-ins with them in the past, and I didn't realize this was a WISN video. Otherwise, I wouldn't have played it. They say Dariana Little, 24, faces felony child neglect charges after her 4-year-old niece died from a gunshot wound at a Milwaukee residence where her boyfriend illegally stored firearms. His name is Anthony. He's 41. A 6-time convicted felon is charged with child neglect resulting in the death, and 2-count resulting in death, not in the death, in death, resulting in death. And 2 counts of firearm possession by a felon. They say the incident occurred February 17th when Little's niece, Janadia Little, suffered a fatal gunshot wound from a Draco-style weapon stored under pillows on an air mattress. According to prosecutors, Little was changing her 1-year-old daughter's diaper when she heard the gunshot. This happened near 9th Street and Sheridan Avenue in the city's Old North Milwaukee neighborhood. Here's a photo of that little girl, by the way. What a cute little girl. What an adorable. I like her hair. I like the braids and the little things in it. So adorable. They're saying after finding Jainadia shot at 9:46 p.m., Little made 2 frantic 911 calls. During the first call, she was heard screaming without communicating with the dispatcher. In the second call, she was recorded saying, stay with me, followed by, Anthony, go get my baby. That's a great thing to tell 911. According to the complaint, Little wrapped the weapon in a blue jacket and moved it to their Chrysler Pacifica before transporting the child to St. Joseph's Hospital. Her boyfriend drove Little and Jainadia to the hospital in his white Chrysler Pacifica. The little girl was later transferred to the Children's Hospital, Wisconsin, where she was pronounced dead at 2:56 a.m. on February 18. They say during the scene investigation, police recovered 2 firearms from the car, a 9mm Taurus handgun, and a Draco-style, I don't even know what this is, a semi-auto 7.62 times 39. I don't even know what that is, but some sort of semi-automatic weapon. They say Brookshire, a 6-time convicted felon with 5 prior gun-related convictions, admitted purchasing both weapons despite being legally prohibited from possession. He faces up to 25 years plus 6 years as a repeater for the neglect charge and up to 10 years plus 4 years as a repeater for each firearm count. Little, who initially denied knowledge of the weapons in the home, later acknowledged knowing about Brookshire's guns stored under the pillows. She faces up to 25 years if convicted of child neglect, resulting in death. Court documents state the investigation continues as both adults have provided conflicting accounts of how the fatal incident occurred. So there you go. There you go. A very beautiful little girl, unfortunately, shot and killed, uh, having a gun in the home, unsecured. A lot of people talk about guns in the home, but a lot of the incidents that happen with children are from unsecured weapons or stored in a bad container, like, oh, I just left it on top of the fridge, or, no, it's not like in a locked box or a cabinet that has a key and a lock, something like that. If you're going to have firearms in the home, be a responsible firearm owner. Make sure they're put away. Make sure children can't get to them. That type of thing. Carolina says, but I don't think a 1-year-old could actually pull the trigger. I don't know if a 1-year-old could pull the trigger on a gun. I don't know. I've heard of children firing weapons though before. There was a 2-year-old child who pulled a gun out of its mother's handbag and shot and killed another kid in a car. Like, they were sitting in a car, mom had run into, I don't know, the bank or a store or something, and left the handbag in the car, and the children found the gun, and one of them was like 2 or 3 and pulled the trigger and killed the other child. So it's happened. Woman of Steel says hair trigger. I don't think so. I think it's just a normal gun. Rachel said it's so sad. We responsible owners get upset seeing these things. They make safes for a reason. That is true. If you're going to have one, make sure you got all the things and a lockbox, and make sure it's child safe, and that you only take it around when you are in control of it, not where children can be control of the weapon. It's a weapon. It's not a Tamagotchi. You're not going to be wearing it around, and then checking if you have to feed it. It's a weapon. You can put it away. It's okay. You don't need to have it around your fingers or in your pocket. You don't need to have it on top of the pizza. You can store it safely. All right. So, very sad story out of Milwaukee. We don't like that one. Yeah, I want to talk to you about this story though. God, all the stories tonight are terrible. What is going on? Hold on. All right. All right. 78-year-old man. All right. I'm going to bring you this story out of Australia, then I'm going to show you a follow-up.
An elderly man accused of attempting to rape a young girl in a Deception Bay park is tonight facing fresh charges, with another alleged victim coming forward. Abby Giron is live in the newsroom with the details. Abby, this man's been bailed again.
He has, Alison. Police executed a search warrant at accused pedophile Colin Behan's home yesterday and seized a number of devices after another child came forward reporting further allegedly indecent acts by the 78-year-old. Police will allege that he sent indecent messages to that child, who is under 16, in a bid to procure exploitation material between June and November last year. And while they were speaking with potential witnesses yesterday, they also received a further report claiming that he exposed himself to a woman in November. Colin Behan faced court today on these new charges, but despite police opposing bail, he was again released back into the community. This all comes after we confronted the elderly man earlier this week when he was charged with the attempted rape and indecent treatment of a child under 12 at a toilet block in a Deception Bay park last Saturday.
That is something I should never have done. I should never have touched her. I hate pedophilia. I hate it. And I always have, all my life. and I've never I've never had anything whatsoever to do with anyone like this before.
So you hate pedophilia, but you touched a child.
Yes, but that's what I can't explain to myself.
Alison, Colin Bean will face court again on March 5.
Abby, thank you.
So you heard him there try and explain away his offending by saying that he hates hates that type of person or that type of act. And then when they asked him to explain why he touched a little girl, he couldn't explain it and said, "That's what I don't understand to myself. I don't understand why I did that." No, I think you do understand. It's not like you just walk through the park and be like, "Yes, today I want to touch a 9-year-old." Like, it's not like it just comes over you one day and you're just like, "Yes, that seems like a great activity for a Saturday afternoon. I'm going to go down to the local park and assault a child." I don't think that's what happened. A rock spider? He is a rock spider. That is true. His jail pocket may be very sore after he gets out of prison. It is gross. What is wrong? Yeah, but I have something else to show you. So, according to, I hate using the Daily Mail, but it's the only one that lets us project it onto the screen. They're saying here a charity called Fill Your Cup, based in Deception Bay, near where this attack on some children happened, issued a lengthy statement regarding the 78-year-old Colin Bayan, who has been involved in their organization for the past 3 years. Now, furious locals have blasted them for giving a good character reference to an alleged PDF file. They say Colin was charged with indecent treatment of a child and attempted R-word after police were called to a park on Raymond Terrace in Deception Bay on February 15, following reports of a girl aged under the age of 12 was allegedly SA'd at the park. Detectives allege a group of people were socializing at the park when the pensioner was seen at a toilet block on his mobility scooter with a young girl and allegedly SAing her. On Monday, that charity, Fill Your Cup, took to their Facebook in a now deleted post to highlight some of his positive contributions amid his actions. They say, "We have known the 78-year-old man since we started operations 3 years ago and have had interactions with him." Here, by the way, here's the post here. He has been very helpful in supporting our homeless community, including providing shelter and by donating a camp trailer and sharing his own resources. The statement went on to acknowledge the anger and disgust people were feeling since the news broke, but did not want to further condemn him. They said, "We simply want to acknowledge his good deeds as well." Well, Fill Your Cup, I can tell you something, and this is what I'm going to tell you. Now would have been a great time to shut the fuck up. It would have been a great time to do that because whatever you say, whatever you do, it's going to be taken wrong, and you don't even have a dog in the fight. It's got nothing to do with you. Who cares what he did? They could be like, "Oh, you remember that guy? Killed all those people. But I heard he used to give $5 to the homeless guy when he walked past to work every day. Yeah, he's a good guy. He used to help the homeless people." No, that's not how that works. You can be outwardly a nice person, but also commit heinous crimes. That's how a lot of people, especially PDF files, keep under the radar because on the outside they sort of project this image of a community-minded person who wants to help out and is very likable. They use that as a mask or a shield to do their alleged defending. And that's what we're hearing about this particular guy. That charity is very, very stupid. Whoever decided to write this message should probably think twice about their career in in whatever this is. That is a very, very silly idea. Going on Facebook and defending a PDF file. Congratulations, you played yourself. Gayla says, was he in the female loos? I think he was around somewhere around a toilet block. Yes. We hate that kind of person also. Yes. April Lee said he has some serious mental health problems. He has something wrong. Let's see. What was he getting out of it? Access to children, maybe? Hey, Natasha, how are you? Doesn't make up for the bad, no. Rachel said, just disgusting to defend him. Why did they say anything? I don't care if he helped people. I know, it's like Ivan Milat. You ever heard of Ivan Milat? Killed all these backpackers. But you know what? He used to go to church every Sunday and he'd feed the homeless after church. And then after that, he'd go and murder backpackers. Like, does that make it any better that he went and murdered a bunch of backpackers? Like, are you like, yeah, you know, we can probably deduct like 2.5 backpackers for all his good deeds that he's done with the church. You know, let's reduce it by like 2.5. I think he deserves it after all the homeless people he fed after church. No, it doesn't work like that. That's not how the laws work. You can do both and they can be very separate. Marlene says, I bet he really helped the homeless children. I mean, I think he helped himself, but you know, words are just words. Gayla says exactly what I thought. Yeah, that is true. I read about Malat is evil. Yeah, Malat's well, he's dead now, so he joined his victims. Well, I think they went that way. He may have gone that way. He may have gone very far south. They may have gone very far north. I'm not sure if they met halfway or something and got to say something, but I hope so. But yeah, he's a very evil guy. Natasha says, for real, anyone can pretend to be good. Serial killers do it all the time. It's one of their greatest attributes. If you're a successful serial killer, one of your greatest, you know, one of the things that you do well is blend into society. It's blend into society and put out that good person persona. And we saw that with Rex Heuermann. Rex Heuermann may be one of the greatest serial killers in the New York area ever. He may be one of the most prolific, maybe one of the most active we've ever found. And he put off a persona as this, you know, this big shot architect who was, you know, just a friendly home guy, you know, a bit of a uptight boss, but you know, he wasn't too bad. Liked to have a chuckle with all the people at work. And on the weekend, he was abducting prostitutes to torture and murder them in his basement. So yeah, this charity, Fill Your Cup. Whoever wrote this message needs to, I don't know what they need. Some perspective. They need some perspective, and they need to delete all of this and pretend like it never happened. You can't defend people. In this message that they wrote, I noticed as well, they don't even mention the victim anywhere. Like, why would you write a message and not even mention the person you're trying to defend hurt? They're part of your community as well, right? They live there. And then you just go on about the 78-year-old man, how nice he is and how giving to the community he is. He was just charged with grooming one child and essaying another. How many others does he have in the, you know, in the woodwork? Could be tens of 20s or more children over his 78 years on Earth. So that was a bad idea. Some people don't know when to just they should have just stayed out of it. I don't know why on earth you would ever do that. As you can imagine, the comment section under that post was full of anger. People saying you are absolutely disgraceful and should be ashamed of yourself. They replied, "We are not ashamed. We have merely expressed our opinion, as have you." Well, your opinion is wrong, and everyone's going to tell you about it. You may be right that you're welcome to express your opinion. People are also welcome to tell you how wrong you are. After dozens more irate community members filled the comment section of Fill Your Cup's Facebook page, they deleted their post, posted a short apology for failing to acknowledge the alleged victim or her family before deleting their entire Facebook. Well, that might be the smartest thing you've done since posting that message was to delete everything. But somehow, some way, people seem to be able to screenshot everything. So the receipts are right here. So you can't escape that easily. So yeah, this poor girl, not only did she have this crime perpetrated against her, there's also charities in her own town that are defending her alleged attacker. That girl can't feel very supported from the community, which is very sad. Retired RN says, I can guarantee that was not the first time. Doesn't seem so, because he was apparently contacting young girls, in the years past, trying to ask them for naked photos. He was asking girls who were underage for nudes. He was asking for, things that are highly illegal. Gayla says going to have a loss in donations. Yeah, unfortunately, and that doesn't really affect them. A charity is a charity. Who it does affect is the people they were trying to help, because some of those people may have relied on their service. So there's going to be a lot of down on their luck homeless people who aren't going to get the same services that they did previously. They are the ones who miss out in the end, which is very sad. All right. What time is it? Guys, unfortunately, I can't stay super long tonight. What time is it? Okay. Yeah, I have to go, unfortunately. I love you all very, very much. Um, Earlier this month, when Mrs. Ping went into hospital, we had to cancel our hair appointment. And then we rebooked it, and she got admitted again. So we had to cancel twice. And our hairdresser was very pissed off. She is very hard to get into, very hard to get a booking with, and she already tried to help us out by moving it by 1 week, and then we screwed her over by not going to that one either. So she moved it till the end of the month, and it is in about an hour and a half. So I have to get to that appointment. Otherwise, she might kill me. I may be on tomorrow's paper, and it may say hairdresser kills client for missing appointment 3 times in a row. That may actually happen. And as you can see, my hair is very long. It's gone all dark under my long hair here. It doesn't normally look like that. So I'm very thankful to go get my hair cut. It's super duper long. It's been like 2.5 months since I've been able to get my hair cut. And Mrs. Ping's going to get her hair colored and dyed and all that stuff. So she's very happy because she's like, I haven't been able to get my hair done because I've been so ill. Gail says, thank you. Enjoy your evening with Mrs. Ping. I will. Yeah, I will enjoy my haircut. Yeah, I'm a hairy beast. That's actually funny. You guys want to know a bit of a personal detail about Mr. Ping. Mr. Ping's not very much a hairy beast. I don't have any back hair, and I don't actually have any chest hair. It's funny. We're with family, and they're just like, are you just like 14 for the rest of your life? And I'm like, maybe I am. Maybe I am. As well, because we have some very hairy guys in our family, ones that look like teddy bears. Like they look like if they went to a tanning salon and they did like that, the wax thing, they may actually kick them out because they'd run out of wax. They are very hairy dudes. Yet I'm 40. When do you think this kicks in? At what age does it kick in? If it hasn't kicked in yet, I don't think it's going to happen. No, yeah, they are very hairy bear-like men. I will see you all tomorrow. I'll leave you with that thought, and I'll see you tomorrow. Sorry, it's a short show. I will be back tomorrow. We'll have a lot of fun, but I got to go have a shower and wash my hair, and I got to act like a woman. I'm washing my hair. I can't keep going with this date. I can't go on a date tonight. I have to wash my hair. I love you all very much. 50 plus. I don't know about that. We'll see. Carolina says, love and peace to everyone. Thank you. I appreciate it. Life is precious. That is true. That is very true. I agree with you. Hey, I love you all. Love you all very much. Thank you to the people who support this channel, including my friend Penguin, who sent in a donation the other day. And I very much appreciate it, Penguin. Thank you very much. And thank you for your email. It was very kind of you. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with a 3-hour show tomorrow night. I promise we're going to get back to 3-hour shows. And I will see you then. Hopefully, I enjoy the long shows where we do 2.5, 3 hours. So hopefully we get back on track tomorrow. All right. What? Gail says, when my son was 14, he had a beard, hairy back, and chest. It's a very interesting 14-year-old. All right. Good night. Good night. Hey, sweet Melissa. Good to see you, my friend. All right. Love you all. Thanks, Slavi. Thanks, Gayla. Thanks, Moonlight View, for being the best moderators in the world. Bye. See you later. Bye-bye.